John Wick Chapter 4 is obviously the fourth installment in the John Wick franchise, and Chad Stahelski, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is coming back once again to direct this fourth film. He directed the entire series, which I highly appreciate, having the same visionist taking care of the whole slew of films. And this is another 2023 film that I was a little bit late to the game with, especially because I do very much enjoy the John Wick films. I've enjoyed all of them. I would say the third is the weakest. I kind of stand with everybody on that, although I really appreciate it. I mean, when I say it's the weakest, it's still got a 4.5 out of 5 for me on my last viewing. So it's still a fantastic film. But comparing to 1 and 2, I give the preference on 1 and 2, obviously. This fourth one is a big, high-octane dose of exactly the same thing. So if you like your John Wick formula, you're going to love John Wick 4. This one is long, and when I put it on and I looked at the time, I'm like, holy, 2 hours and 49 minutes, we're in for a ride. This is going to be a lot of John Wick. And I will say sometimes this one, in this viewing anyway, because I've only seen it once, obviously, it does sometimes overstay its welcome, not going to lie. But it's certainly paced in a sense where from beginning to end, it keeps you going. Like it doesn't lull, it doesn't get boring or get tedious in any part of it. It's always going, set piece after set piece after set piece, and you're always having that high octane, high adrenaline style with it. So nothing's changed there. I really, really also really like the addition of Donnie Yen. I think Donnie Yen's performance is awesome. He plays a blind man, and just that fact alone, where he's playing a blind guy kicking ass, is really good. And I like his arc, and I like when he's introduced, because basically what we have going on here, we have Bill Skarsgård here, who calls in Donnie Yen to take out John Wick, because John Wick went after somebody in Morocco and basically assassinated somebody in Morocco, and therefore Bill Skarsgård's character gets pissed off at this occurrence and brings in Donnie Yen to go after John Wick. And throughout the film, you build to this. They're kind of going after each other, but they make a quote unquote agreement where it's hard for me to follow like the high tables and this world building. There's a lot of elements to it and characters that are quite hard to follow. But essentially they agree to have a duel, Mexican standoff kind of thing, where you have this, both have revolvers and they take a bunch of paces and then they turn around and shoot each other kind of thing. It's the climax is basically that. And then of course in between you have John Wick just absolutely annihilating everybody. This film certainly, if you thought the third was unbelievable, this one, like, you have moments where John Wick and enemies are like point blank at each other and they're just firing away, and for some reason no bullets hit John Wick. Like, it gets Fast and Furious levels of ridiculous, maybe even higher. So you definitely have to turn your brain off for this one in a lot of it. But they made a lot of scenes in this one feel very video game-like, and they have for the other films too, but this one, there's sequences, I'll name one in particular. There's a sequence where John Wick is basically in a house or some kind of building, some kind of warehouse, a place with lots of rooms, and the camera is completely overhead. So you see him go room to room, and you see the bad guys go room to room, and it looks like this little like mousetrap kind of thing, and that's how it's framed, and it goes on for like a good 5 minutes. That was one of my favorite scenes in the film, and I haven't really seen an action sequence play out like that or be filmed like that in that kind of cinematography. And I really appreciated seeing that, and it really gave me that video game vibe. I'm really actually surprised that they made this into a film, and this film is not based off of I can't even speak, a video game, because I'm watching this movie and it feels like something that was adapted from a video game. It's one of those things where I wouldn't be shocked if John Wick was a video game. Obviously, it's not. It's an original idea. It doesn't do anything new. It's just another delivery of what you should expect from John Wick, and that's not bad necessarily. But it can get a little bit tiresome as you like closer to the third act of the film, and especially if you're like binging these. I think these films would be cool to watch back to back, obviously, but you're probably going to need quite a few bathroom breaks where you just need a little bit of a breather because it literally is just in your face action non-stop over and 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 over to the point where you're like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of a headache now. Can we just and start again? This film, because it's such a condensed action film for 2 hours and 49 minutes, it can start to feel like that. It can start to feel a little bit too much sometimes. But my favorite addition to this one was Donnie Yen. I think he does phenomenal, and he's spread out throughout the film quite like he's utilized well, and he's always there. Like there's not too many. It's not like he just shows up at the end, or he's in a little bit at the beginning and then he's a little bit at the end. Like I'd say he's about as a main character as much as John Wick is. Obviously not as much screen time as John Wick, because John Wick's the lead. But you get a lot of Donnie Yen, and Donnie Yen complements this story, this specific chapter 4, really well. And I mean, he's a legend already, but I think his character is really fitting to this story. So I had a good time with John Wick 4. Like I said, expect the very high octane that you've gotten from the last film. So if you like the other ones, you're gonna like this one. It's just a very long version and a very dense version. Know what you're getting into essentially, but if it's your style, it's gonna deliver. I gave this one also a 4.5 out of 5. It was fun for what it was. Just prepare yourself for it, basically. Subscribe to Mark and Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.